any comments that you wanted to make? Okay, I heard that we're recording now. Did you have any introductory comments, Amy, before I get started?
I'm going to do a very quick introduction right now.
Okay, great.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for Enhance Your Productivity with Larry Cohn of Cohn Communications. I'm Amy Goldstein, board member and chair of the training programs for the Legal Mentor Network. I'm also the founder of Grayson Allen, a recruiting and coaching firm for attorneys. For those of you who may not be familiar, the Legal Mentor Network is a nonprofit organization focused on providing free legal mentoring to law students and junior attorneys. If you would like more information, please go to our website to sign up, or again, just learn more at legalmentornetwork.org. If you have questions, Larry has a lot to cover. The last slide will be his email. You can email directly any questions that you have during the presentation, and he will be happy to get back to you with an answer. And with that, Larry, it's my pleasure to turn it over to you. Thanks so much.
Great. Thanks, Amy. I really appreciate your help in putting this together. And I also want to thank Brian Potts, of course, for his kind invitation for me to speak. Okay, so we've got a lot to talk about today, and I want to really tell you that I'm hoping that these will be some very meaningful changes in your life. Your ability to be productive is important. If time is our most important asset, I'm pretty much confident that it is, then managing time is our most important skill. So I'd like to begin this process with a little bit of an exercise. If you were more productive, which freed up more time for you to do the things that were important to you, let's do a quick exercise. Right now, write down what is something that you would like to do in your life that would really be fun to do, something that would really enhance your recreational experience, but that you haven't had the time to do. And we're going to go through a couple of these areas of improvement so that you can really get some clarity on how valuable it would be for you to be more productive so that you'd have more time. So just take a moment and think about something fun that you've really wanted to do, but you haven't had the time. Take the time to do that right now. Don't think, oh, I'll think about that later. Do it right now so that you have it written down. The next thing I'd like you to think about are who are some of the people in your life that you either know or don't know who would be good for you to connect with. When we do our business development coaching, we always talk about targeting, but it's true in every aspect of your life. Who are the friends that need more attention? Who are the family members? What about your personal relationships? Who are the people in your business life? Who are the people? List just a name or two of somebody that you would really like to improve your your connection with. And that will be a very worthwhile use of your time. Another thing that you could do is list some things that would be good for you to do in your career. What are the things that you could be learning? What classes could you be taking? What information could you be developing? Amy and I were talking before the program about how AI is changing our life. What could you be doing to develop your understanding of how to use AI? Take a moment right now and think about what activities could you do to enhance your career? And then list some activities that would enhance your health. Believe me, I know this. If you're not healthy, it's hard to focus on anything else. So what could you do? Write it down right now. I really want you to get excited about the value to you of being more productive. And here's a tip. If you can figure out ways of combining these things so that you could have more fun, be with people that you care about, enhance your career, and at the same time, enhance your health, you're going to be doing a lot of productive activity, and you'll be saving a lot of time by combining them. Okay, so one tip that I'd like to give you is the value of flow. Flow is that experience that you have where you are really deeply concentrating on what it is that you're working on, and when you are in the flow, you have mental clarity, your accuracy improves, your creativity and innovation really increase. You are much more motivated. It is a remarkably satisfying experience, and I'm sure you know that when you are in your flow, you are often experiencing joy. And so if we can ever create joy in your life, it's a good thing. And the way you can do that is to block out uninterruptible time. Now, some of you may be in a position where you are at the beck and call of your employer, and it seems unrealistic for you to say, gee, I'd like to have an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is, for uninterruptible time. And that may feel like a difficult conversation for you to have, but in fact, it is a reasonable thing to discuss, and you might be able to work it out. So don't be afraid of the fact that you can express a desire for uninterruptible time as a way of enhancing the lives of the people that are looking to you to do your work, because if you're not interrupted, you can produce a better product. So in order to have uninterrupted time, you need to do some very specific things. Some of you, I'm sure, are doing them, but maybe many of you are not. You've got to turn off all of your notifications. You cannot be notified of any kind of notifications. You cannot be interrupted. You should close your email. You don't want to be thinking about your email or email notices coming in. You should close your door so that people don't just walk into your office. And also don't answer the phone. Just don't answer the phone. There are times when people realize that they can't get you, and you shouldn't answer the phone. So I believe, oddly enough, in a closed door policy. The old school used to be, open door and we can bond with everybody. But I want you to bond with everybody, but I don't want you to do it in a way that harms your ability to be in your flow. This is one of the most important things in your life. And if you can block out time, make it uninterruptible, you'll find that flow will be available to you. Another thing, of course, that you should do to be more productive is to delegate as much as you possibly can. And delegation is so, so important, because I teach my clients, look, before you embark upon any project, think about who you could be delegating this to and getting it off your plate. Now, some of you are at the end of the spectrum where you are receiving the delegation and you don't have anybody to delegate to. So I appreciate the fact that at some point in time you can't delegate it. You've got to do the work yourself. But wherever possible, you want to be delegating, and your delegation style is so important. You want to be a motivator. You don't want to be a dumpigator. You want to get people excited about doing their work for you. The key to your ability to get people excited about your motivating them and doing the work that you want them to do is to create a sense of ownership, that they feel that they own the project, that you're not just dumping more stuff on them to do, but that they own it and they're excited about it themselves. So there are some things that you can do to create ownership. One is delegate at inception. Don't work on a project for a while and then bring somebody in when you need them. If at all possible, try to bring the people that are going to be involved in the project at inception, so that they are aware of what's going on from the very beginning, and they are involved in seeing the way that it develops. Because if you're in the middle of a project and then you bring somebody in, then you got to bring them up to speed, and then you're really dumping stuff on them in a way that you don't want to do. So you want to delegate at inception whenever possible. Another thing that you should do is be aware of all of the elements of delegation, and there are several. We've got a form which I invite you to request, and I will send you the task manager form, which lists the things that are really important. Description of the task, the resources that are necessary, who's going to be in the loop, what are the quality standards, the things that are necessary to make sure that your delegation is effective. There's a list. I'm happy to send it to you. Another thing that I want you to be doing is asking for input from the people that you're delegating to. Ask them, what are your thoughts about this? What do you suggest that we do? Do you have any ideas about moving forward? Don't just tell people what to do, but ask for their input. Now, if you're on the other side, feel good about offering input, because that will enhance the delegation process. Another thing that you want to do is really bring your delegation up to the current strategy of using task lists on the cloud. This is the way to delegate. It used to be that people would go into somebody's office and they'd sit down and they'd relax and they'd fidget with the toy on the desk or whatever, and how are you doing? There'd be some social interaction. All of that is very pleasant and does create a bonding experience, but there are other ways to bond by giving value to people. You don't need to bond by having a chat when you're doing your delegation. So all delegation should be handled remotely. Now, this is a really interesting experience because people think that, I really like delegating in person and see the person. It is not the way to do it. You put your checklist, your task list of things to do on the cloud on a shared screen. You make a phone call and you talk about the things that are on the checklist. Now, you always delegate via conversations. Stop sending emails explaining what you want people to do. It is a bad idea to use email for delegation. Now, you might say, well, I want to have a record of something that I sent. Well, sure, you should have a record, but it should be put on the cloud in the client folder where everybody can see it. So it's not that you don't document, you just don't document with email, because if you send an email to somebody, you're dumping it. You've got to create an opportunity for them to ask questions. You've got an opportunity to make sure that they're clear. And when you're on the cloud, you can also actually edit documents together in real time. And that is a better way to delegate. Then you should meet daily, if at all possible, to review all open items. Because if you can meet daily, then you eliminate the need for people reaching out to you, or you're having to reach out to other people during the day and bothering them. And you're say, what about this and what about that? If you know that you're going to be meeting daily, then you can eliminate the need, or almost eliminate the need, for those interruptions during the day, because you know you're going to be meeting daily. Now, I know a lot of you are going to say, I can't meet daily with all my people. Well, as much as you possibly can, try to have very frequent, regular meetings with the people that you're delegating to, and teach your delegatees to ask the question, what can I take off your plate? And delegatees, you should feel comfortable asking, what can I take off your plate? So that you create a system for motivating people to help you delegate. So that will be very valuable. And another thing that you can do is always feel comfortable asking the question, what is your understanding? The common thing that people do today, and it's so interesting, is they say, you understand what I'm talking about? Do you understand? And and that really is a foolish question, because if I ask you if you understand something, and maybe you're embarrassed telling me that you don't understand it, or maybe you think you understand it and you say, yes, I understand it, but you in fact don't understand it. So instead of saying, do you understand, or asking, do you understand, you should ask, what is your understanding? And then people will verbalize what their understanding is. If you're delegating on the cloud and the delegatee is entering the to-dos, you can see that they understand what it is that you want, and that will eliminate a lot of the back and forth. So don't delegate through email, delegate through conversations. And then if you are delegating, don't be a pest. Don't check in with people. How are you doing? What's going on? Can I help you with how are we doing here? If we want to eliminate all of that as much as possible. Okay, another thing that you want to do is you want to create as many potential light bulb moments going on as possible. So you want to plant as many seeds as you can. There is a concept in psychology known as the incubation effect. And the incubation effect is a concept that you experience every day. If you are talking to someone and you can't think of something that you wanted to say, you'll say, I'll think about it in a moment, and then you'll stop thinking about it. But it will be incubating in your unconscious mind. And then during the day, some catalyst will happen, and the information that you were trying to think of comes into your mind. It incubates in your unconscious mind. So I want you to do that with everything that you possibly can. I want you to accept responsibility for thinking about better ways of doing things so more light bulbs go on. And so the strategy for doing that is to keep asking yourself, is there a better way to do this? Is there a better way to do this? Lawyers are often locked into precedent when in fact your best move is to be thinking about better ways of doing things, particularly with AI available to you now. So I would suggest that you put a Post-it note on your computer screen with the question, is there a better way? And look at it all day long and keep asking yourself, is there a better way? And if you keep asking yourself, is there a better way? That question will incubate in your unconscious mind and will stimulate your ability to come up with more aha moments. Another thing that you could do is consistently ask others for their ideas. The more input that you can get, the better. You are not obligated to take their advice, but always asking others for their ideas about better ways of doing things is a really valuable way to manufacture those light bulbs. And last of all, of course, is use AI. If you are not registered with ChatGPT right now or one of the other AI services, you must do it. You don't want to be on the wrong side of the curve in this development of AI. Okay, the next thing that's really important is the issue of triage. One of the things that you have as a lawyer is a constant list of things that you have that you're responsible of doing. And what you want to avoid doing is constantly thinking about the same things over and over and over again. So if you have a to-do list and you're constantly looking at that to-do list, every time you look at the to-do list, you have to look at everything on the list in order to pick the one thing that you want to do. Well, when you look at everything that you want to do that has to be done, it's very stressful. It's very time consuming. It is not a good idea to do repetitive triage. You don't want to have a to-do list. You want to stop reviewing your to-dos over and over again. It is time consuming and extremely stressful. So the solution to avoiding repetitive triage is to have deferral systems that you absolutely have faith in, so that when you see an item, you can defer it in a way that you will be absolutely confident that you will be able to address it, because everything that you need to do, it not only requires the task, but it requires the time. So we're going to create some systems right now that will help you have complete confidence in your deferral system. One of them is to do a better job of calendaring your tasks so that you can take it off of your to-do list and put it in your calendar, out of your head, out of your to-do list, and into your calendar. So you want to keep your to-do list to an absolute minimum, 2 or 3 things if that's even required, but try to get things into your calendar. So what you want to do is block out time for each task that takes around 15 minutes. That's a sort of a ballpark number. If you know it's going to take you 15 minutes, put it in your calendar, and then, of course, learn to respect your calendar. Now, everybody tells me, oh, well, I get these emergencies and I have to bump things. Well, if it's really an emergency and you have to bump something, fine, bump it. But you come to learn that things aren't necessarily emergencies. They can wait a little bit of time. And the fact that you've blocked out that time means that you have decided that you wanted to do that project at that time. So this is not designed to just keep bumping and bumping. You have to learn to respect the time slots that you create, and you'll find that that you'll be able to stick to it if as you see how effective it is for helping you get things done. There are many little things that need to get done. So you need to block out time every day for implementing smaller groups of tasks. So maybe a half hour a day or 15 minutes twice a day. Block out some times for you to do the little things that need to be done that you don't want to specifically list in your calendar. And then when you are talking to somebody or working on a project, one of the most important rules that I could teach you is always calendar the next task for each file before you leave it. So don't leave something and say, oh, I'm going to call them later and sort of, I'll do that when I get a chance. When I get a chance is a fantasy. It ends up slowing things down. It ends up often falling through the cracks. So always calendar the next task when you are working on a file before you leave it. And that will really help you. Another thing that you want to do is keep an empty inbox. Now, I know that this is a big challenge for many of you. I talk to people who have 2,000 to 3,000 items in their inbox. It's a terrible way to manage. It is the unbelievably cluttered experience that forces this repetitive triage. If you've got 20 items in your email, that you'll notice, not to mention going through the thousands that are in there. If you have to look at 20, even if you don't acknowledge them consciously, you're seeing all the stuff that has to get done in your life. It feels overwhelming. It is a bad idea to have a lot of emails in your inbox. You've really got to learn to defer the things that you want to do so that you don't have to keep looking at those inboxes, looking at the same thing over and over and over again. So one of the ways that you do that is you create a needs attention folder. And then when you're in your inbox, your only job is cleaning. That is your only job. So either you delete it or you put it into needs attention. So you go through everything that's in your inbox, either delete it or move it into needs attention. If you've got thousands of things in your inbox, I would take everything from about a week ago and just collect it and put it into a deferred file and label it so that you can have all of that stuff. But the likelihood of your going back to things more than a week or two is unlikely anyway. Clean out your inbox. Create an empty inbox all of the time. I have a client, a very sophisticated partner, founding partner of a big law firm in Texas. He recently sent me an email with a snapshot of his empty inbox with the words, "Love this." Everybody I know who learns how to maintain an empty inbox is happier about it. They really like it. So now, if you're going to have a needs attention folder, you don't want that to be then just a big cluttered inbox. You've got to schedule time, blocks of time, to address the needs attention items in your email so that you're constantly cleaning that out as well. So probably what you can do when you're looking at your needs attention folder is calendar most of the things that need to get done. Or you can delegate them, or once again, you can delete them. But don't let your needs attention folder be a replacement for a cluttered inbox. Okay, I've got some extra tips that I want to share with you. We've got a few minutes left, so I'll go over some things that I think that you're going to find really helpful. One of them is announce hard stops. When you're in a conversation with somebody, if there is this open conversation where everybody thinks that they can just talk as long as they want, then the law is that you fill the time that you have, and you end up having a nice chat about other things. If you say at the beginning of a conversation, "Look, I've got 15 minutes. I have a hard stop at 9:45 or whatever it is," and you notify them in advance, then everybody is more comfortable getting right down to the business at hand. And you don't feel uncomfortable as you get closer and closer to when you're wanting to get off the phone to have to say, "Look, I'm really sorry. I hate to do this, but I need to cut this call short. I've got another call." It is not a good idea to tell people after you're in the call that you now need to leave earlier than expected. Announce hard stops, and then everybody understands it. And if you're going to schedule the next conversation with that person, which I always recommend you do, it's a fundamental rule in productivity, is always negotiating the next conversation. You could start a meeting by saying, hey, look, I've got a hard stop at such and such a time. So why don't we schedule a follow-up call on such and such a date, and get that in the calendar so that when your hard stop arrives, you don't have to say, okay, now let's schedule our next conversation, which could push you back past your hard stop. Another thing that you want to do is type contemporaneous notes when you are on your phone calls. A lot of people like to take handwritten notes, or a lot of people like to just talk. It is very important to type contemporaneously while you are having conversations. Even if you are in meetings, it's a good idea to type or record them if you have people's permission. But you don't want to leave a meeting with the understanding that you are then going to document what took place in that meeting. It is double the time. You will forget things. It is not as effective. You want to document your conversations. Get those notes up on the cloud. If they're recorded, AI can outline them for you and list the to-dos that need to be done. It's an astounding tool, and it eliminates the need to then to rethink everything after the meeting. It's really important. The next item is to shorten almost all of your meetings by 50%. There's this notion that, well, let's talk for an hour. Now, if it's a client, you want to give them as much time as they need. That is not necessarily a good idea to limit your conversations with clients, although you can and should when appropriate. But in all internal meetings, whenever possible, try to shorten your meetings. People fill meetings. It's Parkinson's law. They fill the time that they have allocated. So you should evaluate all of your meetings and try to shorten all of them by half. Start your meetings on time. Be known for ending your meetings on time, and that will make sure that people know that their time will be respected and valued. Okay, I've got 3 minutes left, so I think I'm doing a good job of ending on time. I appreciate your attending. I hope these tips were valuable. If you would like our free tool, the Task Manager, send me an email and I'll send it to you. It's a really good form. Send it to you for free. And also, we've written a book on personal productivity. It's an ebook, which we will give to you for free. Shoot me an email. Call me at 310-717-0998 or email me, larry@conecommunications.com. And I'll be happy to send that information to you. If you have any questions about what it is we talked about, if you're a delegatee and you have a delegator who is unreasonable, give me a call. I'll give you some tips on how to manage that problem. And thanks again for the opportunity to present. Amy?
Larry, thank you so much. So many wonderful, actionable tips. I was writing them. I have to make the jump to typing, but I'll figure that out. So just thank you again. Thanks everybody for attending. We will have the recording up on our YouTube channel. If you search the Legal Mentor Network, you should be able to find it pretty easily. We'll get that up shortly if you'd like to revisit what Larry shared today. And I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks again.
Thanks, Amy.